Video editing has come a long way since its humble beginnings, transitioning from analog tools and laborious processes to sophisticated digital platforms that offer an array of possibilities for creators. On this week's episode of Tech Talk, we'll explore how video editing has evolved in the digital era and how it continues to shape the media landscape. Joining me on the program for expert opinion is Sadiq Bawa, a video editor. Or before then, let's take a report on today's topic of discussion. My name is Dorcas Yakubu. You're watching Tech Talk on Trust TV.
With the rise of digital technology, video editing has become more accessible, powerful, and dynamic than ever before. Before the digital revolution, video editing was a painstakingly slow and complex process. Editors worked with physical film or magnetic tape using reel-to-reel machines to splice and tape sections together. This method, known as linear editing, required extensive expertise and precision and was often reserved for professional studios with deep pockets. However, the shift to digital technology revolutionized video editing. In the early 1990s, non-linear editing systems began to emerge. These systems allowed editors to manipulate video clips in any order, offering greater flexibility and reducing the need for physical tape and film. Software programs like Adobe Premiere Pro, Final Cut Pro, and Avid Media Composer became industry standards, offering editors intuitive interfaces to perform complex edits with relative ease. The key breakthrough in the digital age was the ability to digitize footage, store it on hard drives, and edit it on personal computers. This made the process faster, more affordable, and more scalable for a wide range of users, from hobbyists to professionals. One of the most significant changes brought about by the digital age is the accessibility of video editing tools. Once confined to high-budget studios, editing software is now available for anyone with a computer. Furthermore, mobile video editing has also grown in popularity with the advent of powerful smartphones and tablets. Whether you're a beginner, an aspiring content creator, or a seasoned professional, a digital age has made video editing more exciting and accessible than ever before.
Welcome back from the break. In case you're just joining us, it is the program Tech Talk on Trust TV, and we are now joined by Sadiq Bawa, a video editor, to give us expert opinion on today's topic of discussion. You're very much welcome to the program.
Thank you, Dorcas. It's good to be here.
All right. So can you tell us how video editing has evolved over the years and how digital transformation has, influenced this revolution?
Okay, if you talk about the evolution of video editing, let's go back to when the whole process all started. When we're talking about VHS cassettes, that was when video editing was more like an analog pattern at which it was done. So it was very, very taxing, very stressful, and the whole process and it was extremely time consuming. So it's more like it was not something everybody wants to go into because of they see how tedious it was and how time consuming and how taxing it is. So then after that, then it moved into a digital age. So the digital age as at then, it was kind of a little bit still expensive for people because of when you talk about the cost of the software you use and the computers to be used. So it was still very, very, very much expensive, in as much as it has transformed from the analog and it is getting into a more digital pattern in the way that instead of using full of the VHS, you still use the VHS, which by you captured it and now you work on it. Then when we now talk about the full evolution, it was when it now became a full digital pattern, which is you now use normal tapes, a memory card, and capture this the information, and you can now put them on your timelines, irrespective of the software you want to use in editing. And so I believe the transformation, all the stages passed, it has not been easy, and it's good it's been in the stage that we are currently now.
So these evolutions and transformations you made mention of, how accessible are they to video editors in today's world?
Well, they are very, very much accessible, because before, when you want to capture a footage, you need a professional camera. But now you don't need a professional camera. Once you just have your smartphone using with a camera, you're good to go. And then you need to have a prior notice, a knowledge of how this is being done. Unlike now, everybody's now claiming to be an editor and all. But then you must be an editor. You must undergo a training to understand how it's being done, to understand what not to be done and what needs to be done. And okay, this is the best how to capture the footages first. Then you need to have a gadget that will enable you edit. But now with your smartphone, you can edit. With your laptop, you can do edit. And even it has gone beyond that. Even some of the softwares that allow you to edit now gives you a free version or a trial version for you to be able to use. Unlike before, you don't get to see those things. You don't get to exploit those things. It's just something that you must know the manual way of doing it. So it has really grown beyond what we think it is.
All right, for you, what are your go-to video editing tools, and why do you prefer them to some other tools?
Well, any video editor will not tell you that there's a specific go-to tools you make use of.
Okay.
The tools depend on the kind of job you are working on currently. Now tells you okay which of the tools you should make use of. So but there are some general tools that you should always keep in mind. Most like the pick tools, and okay, these are the tools you use for cutting and all. So these are the tools you must always use, because there's no way you have footage straight without having to cut. So you must cut. So one of the tools you must fall back to always is cutting. But as a video editor or as a professional, you shouldn't have a tools you say, okay, this is just the tools I make use of. So once you're limiting yourself to the tools you make use of, that means your creativity is going to be limited. So whatever you do is going to be around what you keep doing. So for that not to happen, you don't need to have a specific tools. You just need to try to get familiar with almost virtually all the tools that needs to be done. Because sometimes, if now you not get familiar with just one particular tool from one software, and you're not working with another software that don't have that same tools, or the way you know that tools is, what then do you do? So that means you already limit yourself, because of you are already restraining yourself to some specific tools that should be used. So on a general note, you shouldn't have a specific tools. You should have knowledge of what each tool should do for you, and you should be able to use them and utilize them professionally and give you a very good output at the end of the day.
So you'd agree with me that social media platforms have influenced virtually every aspect or every sector of, our society today. So how has the rise of social media affected the kind of content that people produce and also edit? I mean, back in the days, you just have one straight line. This is a video, you have an edit. But now you have different platforms that expect you to edit their videos to appeal to that particular app or the type of audience. So how has social media influenced, that aspect of editing?
Well, social media, when social media came, so that's like I said earlier, so this is why I said like everybody is now editing.
Yeah.
So social media now made it kind of easy for people to now call themselves editors, in as much as they are not professional editors. Because now, for instance, let me use TikTok as a case study. The difference between TikTok and YouTube, their formats differs. In as much as at the point YouTube now integrated a short, which now gives it a kind of share between what TikTok accepts and what YouTube accepts and all. So, but the difference more is TikTok is more of a portrait kind of, so that once you view it on your mobile phone, it fools your mobile phone completely.
Yeah.
Now, if you now watch, because of the social media stuff, there are some rules in editing that is now being disregarded. For instance, you now start seeing much of jump cuts. People don't longer care about a jump cut. You just see a video watching, you see it has jumped. You're seeing a time relapse. You're seeing a whole lot of things. Like at some point, you feel like at first, this is not norm. They're disturbing.
I think for them, they think it's creativity.
But no, it is not. Creativity is, how are you able to tell your story? That is creativity.
Yeah.
But just the fact that you are now a social media editor, you've used your phone to do your video shoots, and it's on the timeline, you just merge them together, and where you feel like you make mistake, instead of looking for something to cover it to avoid the jump cut, because sometimes jump cut kind of affects the eyes, like it just like not the eyes like per se, the eyes like the brain, like as something happened.
Yeah.
Why can't you make your transition smooth? But because of the social media now, people don't care. and now we're beginning to see it as a thing of a norm, like it's normal when you see jump cuts on social media. But when a professional still handles the video editing, irrespective of the platform, they still try to make sure those jump cuts are completely avoided. But an amateur now that claims to be a video editor, because everybody now will say I'm a content creator, I edit my video myself, so that makes me an editor. I don't even need an editor. Why do I need an editor when I can do it myself? So it is not, jump cut is one of the part that they feel like is normal. Then another part again is some of the social media, because of the trendings. So some stuff that are trending, some music that are trending, okay, or they are doing some challenges. They start doing, okay, let me just do the challenge. They don't care what rules that they're applying. Let me just do it and let my content be out there as well.
They just want to trend.
They just want to trend. Then another thing is, should I say capital, because some don't want to pay a professional to do it for them. So they just want to do it. And now the platforms, social media, the handles have made it like a thing of a norm, because of, it's more like the more you post, the more you have people that are coming to keep your page
There are no regulations.
busy. So they don't care. They just like, yeah, this person is posting, there's 1 million views, there's 2 million views, and the algorithm start working for the person because of what people have been coming and watching. So it now makes them feel like what they are doing is normal. But on the right sense, it is not normal, because of jump cut is something that should be avoided. And you just see, like, sometimes you see some videos coming and the next thing you see it on a slow motion and you're like, what is the slow motion doing here? Because some of them just play with the effect that they are seeing, and at the end of the day they post it and it looks normal to them, and the people watching to see it to be normal. But some of these things we see it and like, no, this slow motion shouldn't be here. This is what should be here instead, even if you must use an effect. But then see it as a thing of a norm, which I think, if there are videos online that people can still watch to see how these things should be done, but social media is making it like normal for everybody to do what they feel like doing, call themselves video editors and professionals at the end of the day, which is not cool.
So let's touch on emerging technologies like AI. As a video editor, do you think AI is going to take your job?
No.
Okay.
I can tell you confidently that AI can't take your job. What's the part of AI is just to make your work faster.
But people are generating videos with AI.
It's just a video with AI. But now, let me ask you a question. For instance, now, this interview we're doing, can AI generate this interview we're doing?
Well, if you give it the prompt, it would actually
Can
work.
AI tell you exactly what I want to say?
Of course not.
It can't. So definitely AI can play its own part, and the human factor plays its own part. When it comes to creativity, the human factor knows what's the mood. Okay, for instance, AI can't know, okay, for instance, if you're doing something for a birthday party or for a wedding, AI can put them together. Yes, AI can go through the sequence and tell you, okay, from the pitch and from the speed and all, I feel this place should be cut out and all. It can even cut it and change them for you. AI can do that. But now, does the AI know, okay, this, what you just cut now, I want it to look like this? Or when the client now tell you, okay, let's say you're working for a client, and the client now tell you, this video you match together, I don't want them to be matched this way. Can you play around creativity? I want it to be like this. Can you now start typing, AI, I want you to do this, I want you to do this. AI will not be able to do it. So you as a professional now comes, that's where the human factor will always play. I don't know, maybe in the nearest future, but for now,
AI cannot take
the job of a video editor. AI can only, and with the way the technologies are coming, as a good video editor, you yourself, you need to move with the trend. Because now, if for instance it takes you like an hour or 2 hours to do a project of let's say a project of 5-10 minutes or so, because of you want to apply too many creativity into it, with the use of AI, it can make it shorter. For instance, if you're going to transcribe, you want to show subtitle, before you have to manually start typing. But with the use of AI now, AI can generate those texts for you. So now you see, you are doing your own creativity, you are equally utilizing the AI tools in it.
Yeah.
So the AI and the human can work hand in hand to make the task faster. But the AI coming to take over the job completely is enough for me.
You'd agree with me that these days people do not really want to sit to watch 1 hour videos, 2 hours, 3 hours. those lengthy videos, traditional videos, people do not want to sit and watch those videos. People now find shorter videos more appealing. So how do you deal with clients that you know that this story is going to be properly told in 1 hour, and then the person is telling you compress everything to 20 minutes?
You know, this is
How do
where
you work with that?
this is where trailer comes in.
Okay.
Because when you use trailers are always short, a minute, a minute 30,
Okay.
a minute 30 seconds or so. So that is where trailer now comes in. Use your trailer to capture people's attention. Like, okay, there are things you need to watch out for in the lengthy video. Okay, fine, we can as well break it down to 5 minutes. But the 5 minutes you still equally need to go and watch. You just need to do something that would drive people it. Because I believe if people happen to get engaged with what you're doing, irrespective of the time, as long as it is not boring. I know, like down here in Africa, we're using to buying time. Let's just buy time, and at the end of the day, like one person like me, once I'm watching anything that is buying time, I just lost interest. But if it tends to be interesting from the 0 to the 1 hour, it tends to be interesting. Use your 1 minute trailer to capture people's attention. There is something like this happening, there's this action in this part, there's this action in this part, this action. You put everything together and you call it, go watch out for it. Definitely people want to watch out because of that 1 minute is now what you're using to sell the 1 hour. Unlike just taking the 1 hour out there, because even the Hollywood now, there's no movie they bring out without doing a trailer to it.
Yeah.
And the purpose of the trailer is for people to see that there are things you're going to enjoy while watching the movie. Because of even if the Hollywood should just release full movie, if not for only known faces or known production that people will want to watch, but on some new production, because some new production are equally doing fab well, people will not watch them. So now they now use the trailer in selling the 1 hour, 2 hour. You can see people still these days still watch series. Episodes 1, 2, 3. Season 1 is done. They move to season 2, and they will be anticipating when the next season or when the next episode is coming because of why the storyline is good. The trailer must have captured it, and at the end of every season, you see they'll sometimes show you highlights of what you'll be expecting in the next episode. So they've already captured your attention. So you want to go and watch, or you want to wait for the next episode to come out. So yeah, the short video plays its role, but you can use the short video to your own advantage, whereby use the short video to sell the long video.
So with this new software comes a price. How do you retain quality of footages, once you upload them or once you put them on this, software to edit them? Because if the videos are not even clear, it won't appeal to the people you're trying to sell that content to. So how do you retain that, video quality of that video?
Quality matters a lot. Because at the end of the day, like me, I always use myself as a case study or as an example, because I know because of some other of my friends in the line too. When I see videos that are of poor quality, irrespective of how interesting you must have narrated the story to me, I won't watch. I won't pay attention to it, because I just feel like you are stressing me getting hold of so many details. Some people watch movie just to enjoy movie, or some people watch some production just to enjoy some production. But I watch production, so firstly I want to learn something I'm seeing, and I pay attention to some detail, because sometimes there's some details you see, or there's some kind of edit you see, we wonder like, how was this done? But it's done. So that means someone have challenged you, like something like this has been done. So why not go back and try it and see how it was done? So now this now brings about why people sometimes shoot in 4K and 8K. Now when you shoot in this high ultra HD quality, there's no way your video will come out and ever look poor in the eyes. Your video quality is always going to be superb, because now when you shoot in this quality, the essence of why you need to shoot in this high definition quality is, one, there are cases whereby you want to use just one scene to create so many scenes out of it. Okay, just like the way we are now. Let's say there's a third person, there's a fourth person, there's a fifth person, and there's the wide shot of we in 8K. Do you know, as everybody is speaking, you can zoom into individual person from that same clip, and that same quality will still come out clear and sharp because of the resolution that it was shot with. But if it was just shot on, like, let's say you are using like 720 or using the normal full HD 1080, once you stretch it, it start pixelating. And once it start pixelating, people now see it when it's on wide shot, that is the main shot, it looks cool. When you now zoom to one person, it is now looking blurry. So that's why you need to shoot in high quality so that you can manipulate the footage in whatever way you want to manipulate it, and your quality still comes out well. But there is still a limitation to this, because when you're shooting in this high quality, your computer hardware now works more.
Okay.
And how many people can actually have possession of computers that can
withstand that?
Preview the resolutions for you, and the space required for it to, because of when you're shooting on normal HD, for instance, and let me just estimate, for instance, you're shooting a 10-minute footage that, let's say in normal HD, let's say 1 gig or 2 gig. When you're shooting it in 4K, that should give you like, let's say 16 gig or 20 gig. When you're shooting 8K, you're talking of like 60, 80 gig. Now you drag it, that same footage, to the software you're going to use in editing. The software, yes, is there, but the computer hardware now start working. Your RAM start working, your GPU start working, your processor start working. And if your processor is not strong enough to process the video, then there's going to be an issue. So irrespective of you want to work with a very good high quality footage, you should equally put into consideration the gadget you are using.
Okay.
So, and if at the end of the day your gadget does not meet up to process the 4K, there's still other ways you can still boycott it. There's still a way you can still edit in. You are having a 4K, you are editing in low resolution, and when you want to export, you change it back to the 4K and export, but it's going to take longer time. So all of this is just something you need to know. Okay, I really want to give this high quality stuff, but my system cannot preview it. And when you cannot preview what you're doing, that means you cannot edit it and be creative enough. Fine, let me drop down the resolution. I can convert it down to something like 1080, 720, keep the same file, keep the same length. When I'm done with all my creativity and all my editing, I unlink it and link it back to the 4K or 8K, and let the system now export it, and I have sharp quality and without stressing the system. So all of this is just knowing how to go around it, but high quality is just the best.
So let's look at the future outlook of video editing softwares. How do you see it in terms of automation and machine learning?
Yes, like these editing softwares, these are companies. If they don't move with the trending, then that means they'll go out of market.
Okay.
So all the companies are equally moving with the trend. They're equally introducing AI into the software, so like the transcribing, and to help you do the fast cuts and all. AI is now doing a lot of things, and like merging cameras together, synchronizing audios. Before, when you, for instance, if you're having multiple camera shots and you want to synchronize the audio, you have to do these things manually. But with the AI now into some of this editing software, you don't need to do them. But at first, later they started doing, you might use a third-party software to do the sync. A third-party plugin to do the synchronization. But now that has gone out. Now the software themselves, most of them are now doing synchronization themselves, because of, if you don't do this, and another company now study, okay, this is a company is a video editing software, but these are their limitations. They've not followed what is trending. There's no AI into the software. Okay, let's develop ours. And they're bringing AI into the software. They're making the user interface more easier. The other company will go out of market. People will move with the trend. And it's just like, I don't just want to call software names. It's like one of these, like the software most people now use that call themselves video editors. Okay, like the software, just you see presets, templates, and all. So now it makes it, it was even part of the reason why it was easy for people to now call themselves editor, because of now the software now made the interface easy. So even if you don't know what you're doing, just read, they'll tell you this is the timeline, drag it to the timeline. What do you want to do? Add effects. You start playing with different effects. You see, wow, nice. Then they come out to say, wow, good. People start saying, wow, man, kudos, you did well and all. But yes, in as much as the softwares are still there, so this now made even the professional video editing softwares that are industry standard to now up their game. Like, okay, let's introduce some of these features into, in as much as some of these industry standard softwares with the softwares that even gave some of them hint of, okay, like, oh wow, this software have this. Okay, wow, okay, they have this, let's add this. We cannot exactly get what they're doing, but let's just deviate from them a little and introduce this. So
so finally, what advice do you have for someone who wants to break into the video editing, industry in the digital era?
Well, you need to firstly be very creative.
Okay.
You need to be patient. You need to learn, because learning is always, even as I am.
Learning never stops.
I've been in this for years. I'm still learning. There's some edit I see, like there's some movies I see, there's some shot I see. I wonder like, how's this shot done? I can sometimes just use my phone and practice that same shot. I see some edits. I can just on my own like, okay, why not learn there's something that was done, and if it gets too confusing, I go to platform and like, okay, I want to learn how this was done. I want to learn, okay, or you ask like behind the scene, how was this done? Some persons explain. There are some guys online that analyze some shots, and you learn from them and all. Because once you don't learn, you just feel like, let me just come into it. It's not video editing. Moreover, everybody is doing it now. A is doing it. Even 5 years old is editing, and you now have that same mindset of coming in to want to be a professional video editor. As you enter, when you get to an organization or a place that you need to apply your professional skills, you'll not be able to apply it because of why you've jumped a whole lot of process. So you need to be patient. You need to learn how it was done. You need to understand how it started and how it became this way. Then the sky is your starting point.
Thank you so much, Mr. Sadiq, for joining us on the program and giving us your insights.
You're welcome, Dorcas.
We'll take a quick break, and when we return, we'll bring you tech tips. Do stay with us.
Today on Tech Tips, we'll be giving you video editing tips to help streamline your workflow and elevate your editing skills in the digital era. Step 1. Use high-quality footage. Shooting in 4K or high resolution gives you more flexibility in post-production, especially for cropping or stabilizing footage. If you're working with high-resolution footage, use proxies, which are lower-resolution versions, during the editing process for smoother playback, and switch back to full resolution during final rendering. Step 2. Leverage AI for enhanced efficiency. Use AI-driven software for tasks like automatic color correction, sound syncing, and even intelligent video trimming. Also, tools like the Script or Premiere Pro's Auto Transcribe can automatically create captions, making it easier to edit audio and make your videos more accessible. Step 3. Efficient workflow with keyboard shortcuts. Learn the keyboard shortcuts for your editing software. This would save you a lot of time compared to constantly clicking through menus. Step 4. Take advantage of cloud storage. Use cloud-based storage like Google Drive, Dropbox, or specialized services to easily store, share, and collaborate on video projects. For larger projects, consider services that offer direct editing from the cloud, reducing the need for local storage and providing easier collaboration. Step 5. Color grading and correction. DaVinci Resolve is one of the best tools for color grading. Even if you're using other software, consider exporting your video to Resolve for advanced color correction and grading.
And that's a wrap on the program this week. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms for more programs, news, and documentaries. My name is Dorcas Yakubu. Goodbye.